We got a number of people that want to come up and speak, and just give us your thoughts. But first, I'll let each member up here introduce themselves, and we'll start with that.
Thank you. My name is Adam Botana. I represent District 80, so Boca Grande down to North Naples, coastal Lee County, Bonita to Sarah. Thanks for having me, and thanks for having me at this event.
Hey, good evening. Good evening, almost. Good evening. My name is Jonathan Martin. I'm your state senator. If you live on the west side of I-75 in Lee County, I look forward to hearing from many of you tonight. I've seen some familiar faces from previous meetings, and I look forward to getting as much information from you as possible so that if we bring this topic up during our legislative delegation meeting, we'll have as much information as possible to move forward with the vote that I think is appropriate. So I look forward to having a great discussion, and if I don't get a chance at the very end to say it, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, enjoy your holiday with your family.
Good evening, I'm Tiffany Esposito. I represent District 77, which is the eastern part of Lee County, including San Carlos Park, Lehigh Acres, Briarcliff, and parts of Alva and Buckingham. I'm excited to hear the discussion today. This is our third town hall that we've had, and our delegation meeting will be on January 9th at FSW.
All right, we're going to go ahead and kick this off. I'm going to keep time because we got a number of people that want to speak, so it's going to try to hold it to about 90 seconds. Let me get my clock up here.
If you got 60 people, that's still an hour and a half.
Can't say much at all in 90 seconds.
For or against? You're for or against?
I'm having phone issues, so I think Christina is going to need that clock. So, Commissioner Pendergrass, I know you didn't sign up, but you spoke at all the others. I know you got to go out of town. Would you like to come up and speak?
I'll speak first. I got plenty of time.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Actually, our new Commissioner, David Mullica.
My fellow commissioners can step out for sunshine purposes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, what an honor to be the number one person to speak tonight. For our newest commissioner. So first, before you put the clock on, give me just a second. Anyway, thank you, Cape Coral, and all the rest of Lee County for honoring me with your votes to put me in office right now. I'm very proud to have won all 99. I ran countywide, as you know, and I'm proud to say that I won all 99 precincts twice in the general and the primary. So with your support and a lot of hard work and listening all four corners of the county, from Boca Grande to Bonita Springs, it was a great tour to listen to all perspectives of the community, and with our family's history here and the perspectives we have, it's a real honor to serve, and I'm loving the new job. So thank you for that. So,
You're on.
all right, so team, I appreciate the opportunity to be here, and it's always good to have a forum where we can have open and honest dialogue. I am personally not a proponent of changing our government system here in Lee County government to a single member district strategy. I did, as I mentioned, tour the entire county in my campaign, and I've lived in all 5 districts. I have business in all 5 districts and family in all 5 districts, and I'm certain that the team and I can walk and chew gum and manage the entire county at the same time together. I think this premise of a single member district is simply a solution looking for a problem that doesn't exist. And if I'd heard an outpouring from the community of unhappiness or distrust or general unrest about the structure of our county government, I certainly would have heard it, and I would be happy to champion a cause if there was such a one, but there just doesn't seem to be one that actually exists beyond a very small group. I think the Cape Coral, for example, for all of you, you have the best of everything right now, because you have local representation at the city level. You elect your own mayor, you elect your own council people, and you get to elect all 5 county commissioners. On a single member district, some people would like you to believe that you have more voting power, but you actually are surrendering 80% of your vote. And I think that you guys showed that if you don't pay attention to politics, things will happen to you and not for you. You've all heard me say that on the trail many times. That's how where I grew up. But this is a perfect example, just like the stipend and you voted for what change you wanted when people told you they knew better for you than you. And this is the second example of that in a row, and I'd like to pay attention to this.
Well, thank you. I got one quick question. Commissioner, this is a quick question. No, you're fine. You know, so you said, yeah, you know, you worked your tail off. You were everywhere. We saw you everywhere. Great job. Congratulations.
Thank you.
But the real question is do you think the same voters that voted you into office should have the opportunity to vote on the structure of their county government?
They already have.
Have
We
they?
have a county charter, and we have means to amend it if there was an outcry. But a real outcry would be something like COVID, when the teachers, we were upset with the teacher, the school district structure, right? There was an outpouring of support and an outcry of want, will from the people, not from the powerful people, called for that. Under the,
Are you familiar on how so you weren't here before, so the county charter is set up.
yes,
So
of course I am.
do you know that each commissioner, they don't have to appoint anybody in their district to that county charter?
No, we have the freedom of choice to do that, yes.
Okay.
But we all live in our own district, we all shop at our own Publix, we all know our own neighbors, we all live, each 5 of us have single member residency requirements.
So the question that we're gonna answer, just so everybody is clear, so we're not changing the county structure of the structure of the county government. Just when everybody. No, we're not.
People are. We the people are.
No. We're giving the people the opportunity to vote on how they want it. You don't support it, that's absolutely fine, that's fine. Whether you support it or not, the question is, do you support the people of Lee County the ability to vote on the structure of the government?
I'm saying
The answer is yes
we
or
already
yes or
live
no.
in single member districts, we just have to run countywide so that we understand all of the county issues as a whole. There's no roads and no water lines that end at a district boundary,
Okay.
right? And that's our job, is to manage those things. And I think, based on the election results in this room, everybody that thought they knew better for somebody else got voted out of office last time in November. Right now, we are one team, one body from the state, local, county governments. And I think the people would like all of us to do our jobs that we're already assigned right now, rather than meddling with somebody else's. We can do a lot of good things together, from the president, the Senate, the Congress, all the way down the slate. We have a great opportunity. We shouldn't squander it by having infighting over somebody else's structure.
Okay, thank you. All right, our property appraiser, Matt Caldwell.
Again, Matt Caldwell for the record. Thank you for the opportunity. We've talked about a lot of different reasons why this is the right idea over the last 2 town halls. To reiterate here, a couple of the ones that I think are most impactful. It is harder today to run for the county legislature than it is to run for both the state and the federal legislature. I think it puts into strong relief, strong contrast, just how out of sync an at-large system is with a large group of people. The county today being 800,000, headed to 1 million. Next, I would point out that every time, to my knowledge, that voters have been asked anywhere this question, they have approved it overwhelmingly, including in this county, when they were asked whether they wanted single-member districts for their school board, and where they voted 2/3 in favor of that proposition. And now we have successfully had single-member districts with local district representation. I will point out that in that system, what was proposed was a 5-2. That is what I believe is being proposed once again in here for the county commission, which would address both concerns, both local concerns, and by having 2 at-large members, the ability for those county-wide perspectives to still have an opportunity. And to your most important point, which is I think what everyone who comes to testify here tonight must be prepared to answer, do you think the voters deserve to vote on this question? They almost had the chance 20 years ago exactly. Bruce Kyle passed through this delegation a single-member district bill, passed it through the House, and it went to the Senate floor, and a senator that did not live in this county, using legislative maneuvers, killed that bill then. This question should have been answered 20 years ago. It was far past time, and I would encourage you to put the bill forward.
Thank you. Sandra Aguilar. I'm just going in order now. Gwen Giddens, you're next.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for being here today, and I'm just here representing the Coast Realtor Association. I am a local realtor here in Southwest Florida, and I'm here representing the Royal Palm Coast Realtor Association, as I am a local realtor in the area for the past 10 years, and I am definitely against the single member district. I believe it is. Okay.
Here we go. Much better. Yes. So should I start all over?
We'll start you over, yeah.
Okay. Good evening, and my name is Sandra Aguilar, and I'm here representing the Royal Palm Coast Realtor Association. I am a local realtor here in Cape Coral and servicing our members for the past 10 years. And I am here to talk against the single member district. I believe that it's not fair for our community. I think that we all should be one, and we should all be fighting for all, and not just individual. Those are my thoughts. Thank you.
Do you mind asking, just if you think that the voters of Lee County should have the opportunity to vote on the structure of the bill?
I think we all should have the opportunity to vote, yes. But I think that that you are dividing our county. I don't think that one area is better than the other one. I think we're all in one, and I think that we should all have one voice.
Thank you, ma'am. Kevin Carnes is next. It's up.
Okay, we should turn it back on. There we go. Gwen Giddens, thank you for listening. If your family decides that you want to, let's say, build an extra room on the back of your house, and it's your family decision, you're gonna have to pay for it. And someone says to you, yeah, but someone out on Sanibel has to approve it. Single member districts give that family, give us as a community, the opportunity to make decisions. Okay. I was gonna say, that's going pretty fast. The opportunity to make our own decisions. Sitting on the school board, and I think single member districts, if you're gonna do it, should be everybody. It should not be mixed. There shouldn't be two that are full, all county and the rest not. Running, like someone mentioned, running for all county is going to take a whole lot of money, a whole lot of time, and some of the people that are willing and able to run for a position won't be able to afford it, can't do that. So where is that taxation without representation? And I do want to say that, I forget who said it at the very beginning, that we are one body, one state, one voice. I disagree. When my voice doesn't match yours, it does not make me a bad person. It makes me a person with a different voice. And yes, I think it should be voted.
Kevin Carnes. Skip, you're up next.
Good evening, delegation members. Kevin Carnes, for the record, Lee County Clerk of Court and Comptroller. But I'm speaking tonight in capacity as a resident of District 5. And you've heard me talk about this a couple of times at your prior workshops. And one thing that sits on my mind with this question is that every single member or resident of District 5 can vote for a single candidate, and that can be canceled out by the rest of the community. And so that's the fact of this piece that really weighs on me. And I think that's taken into consideration through your conversations in these brainstorming sessions. I know there are pros and cons for this issue throughout our community, but it really sits on me that I get a true vote for every other person on our ballot, and that I could potentially be canceled out for my vote for county commissioners. Really just weighs on my conscience. There's a lot of good arguments for and against this issue, but I personally believe that we should at least run the bill to put it on the ballot, so we have 2 more years of exploring those challenges and pros and cons before the people get a chance to decide how they want for their county commissioners to operate. We have a great board. I work with them very closely. We do some great work on behalf of the people, but I genuinely believe that as a resident of County Commissioner District 5, my vote should count just as much as anybody else in the county. Thank you for your time.
We have Denise if I butcher, it's because of Ebert,
Everly.
I'm sorry.
You should even call me Dennis.
Dennis, oh, all right.
Good evening, and thank you all for, there we go. Good evening, thank you all for coming out tonight on this important issue. I very much model what Commissioner McCulloch said, and think that based on the editorial I wrote for the news press, there isn't enough time to cover all of those points. But I am very much against single district representation. The fact of the matter, it expands government in a manner that isn't fair to all the people that vote, and I think people should have the right to vote, that are entitled to vote. But you had a governance group that turned this down. You've had other people look at this and say that it's not fair to representation across all the borders, and therefore I'm against it.
Do you think that the people of Lee County should have the opportunity to vote on it?
Anybody that has the legal right to vote should have the opportunity to vote, and they do.
So do you think that the people of Lee County get to decide how their government looks?
The people of Lee County do decide how government should look.
It's not on the ballot though.
It hasn't on the ballot at this time, but what's not working?
What's not working? You don't live in our district.
Yeah.
Katrina?
District 5.
You're gonna be after Dennis.
Cape Coral decided who our commissioner is. Yep. It's not the commissioner that we want. That's not right. It's not right.
Hello, thank you for inviting us again tonight. My name is Denise Everly. I live in Alva, Florida. I'm District 5. Can you hear me?
No. It's not on.
Everyone keep turning it off.
They keep turning it off for some reason.
Hello? Hello? Can I have my time back? Thank you. Okay, Denise Everly, Alva, Florida, District 5. I am for single member districts, however, 5, not 7. I don't think we need at large. I also would like it brought to the voters. And the reason for this is our current District 5 commissioner does not represent his own district constituents and relies on other districts to elect him. Those districts don't represent our districts, nor do we represent those districts. Actually, our current county commissioner just lost his election for his district. He won his election, but he lost his district. This will allow more competition with candidates, will cost far less, and they only have to campaign for their specific districts, causing them incentive to represent their constituents of their districts. This does not, however, negate their representation of all of Lee County. They will have to work together to help in those districts, but with specific goals of actually listening to their constituents of each individual district. We each have different issues and needs. We should not be just lumped together with blanket decisions. It is we that are the constituents of these districts, and we are being disenfranchised when others vote for our district. Thank you.
Katrina and then Billy Barnes.
You can leave the microphone on.
Katrina Selikar, the East Lee County News, The Roar, and we are the Southwest Florida Business Alliance as well. And absolutely would like to see the voters have the choice coming up. And the reason here for me is I would like single member districts and 2 additional at large. Because basically District 5 was disenfranchised severely when you look at the numbers. 85% of Alva precinct voted for a particular candidate, 65% of the overall district voted for that candidate, and there was much more. And it got overwhelmed by basically what could be absentee mail-in from other places that weren't around during the time of the election to learn more about the issue. I want to mention that we need to start preserving quality of place. And what we have is, I like to say 5 guys can't get it done. We're one of the last in the whole area of Florida, or the state, to go single member districts. And that threshold was back in the high 300s, 300,000s for our population. And we have overruns on the airport, flooding from lack of oversight on development, potable water issues, road congestion, inadequacy, We're number 2, probably number 1 in the state for serious injury, crashes, and deaths. This lack is of oversight also extended to the sheriff's office and budget. People are moving here, they're feeling misled, and early moving stats are going to show that to you. There's actually more moving out than moving in. And so I want to say that the model is dated right now, that people are actually going to be here to replace what's going on.
Billy Barnes and then Amy Barnes.
Hello. Many of you know me. Personally, you know me. Mr. Lombardo, you keep making a comment, do we have the right to vote? We do vote. We vote on every county commissioner. That's the way it should be. I should not lose 80% of my votes because you want to make it a single district, period. Accountability is what is at stake here, not a voting situation, not to where you can go and make a mandate and type something up and trick people to vote and have 10,000 commercials, pros and cons, to try to trick individuals about their voting power. You want people to vote? They're voting now. They're losing 80% of the vote if you go single district. I have properties in all these districts. I should not lose the ability to be able to vote on individuals who may say so about my properties and the areas around them. So for anybody in here, including Matt Caldwell, who is our property appraiser, he knows math. Is it good to lose 80% of my voting power? I don't think so. We are here to vote on individuals like we should do. Anybody who has to make the right and the law on affects my life and the properties that I own when I spend over $60,000 a year in property taxes, I have the right to hold them accountable. Accountability is what's at stake, not your vote. Don't be acting like you're gonna go and put things down for individuals to vote, and we try to scam people to learn about this is right, this is wrong, 10,000 commercials, spending millions of dollars on doing this amendment, that amendment. We're voting now. We're voting on every county commissioner that affects our lives. Do not change it, because if you do, you're gonna take away voting power from the people, and every one of you will be accountable. So anybody on this here wants to push this through, I will personally make sure that I make sure you're held accountable.
You're welcome. Andrew's son, you're up next. No, Amy. Then.
Okay. I'm a Sweeter Barnes. No, my concern is just this. You know, some things sound really good on paper, but when it boils down to it, just that we are losing votes, and I do have property in multiple districts, and it is a beautiful thing that I get to pick county commissioners from multiple districts. I know you keep pushing, just do the people have the right to vote, but remember, when you're looking at a ballot, you just get a snippet of what's really happening. A lot of times, unfortunately, voters don't get the chance to educate themselves on the full volume of what the policy is. So therefore, it's dicey. And again, I'm just asking, if it isn't broke, why are we fixing it? I just wanted to know who had the aha moment, or who is spearheading this. And, because you know, I tried to do some internet sleuthing, and I really couldn't find maybe who's spearheading this and what was the real Lee County driven reason why we're doing it. I know a lot of reference to other big counties, but what's the Lee County driving reference? Because I've already personally been a casualty of some legislative moves up in Tallahassee, and I don't want to be another casualty again. Thank you.
James Kennedy.
I'd like to thank the members of the legislature for this opportunity. And as someone who supported David in his race, was proud to do so, happy to do so, I supported Cecil and wrote them both checks. I am more than happy and confident in that choice, but I can still disagree with them on this question. And I think there's 3 really big reasons why that we should allow single-member districts to move forward. The first being the cost of elections. It's outrageous, and what that does lead to is that second point of special interest groups not only using their size and their scope with their members to try to sway elections across those districts, but also their money, and I think that's a major concern. But I think the real test of their support of at-large member districts is, would they want members, citizens of Broward County electing the members of our legislature? I don't want the Democrats in Broward County overriding my vote. Would we let Democrats in New York or California vote for Byron Donalds or vote against Byron Donalds that we ask to represent us in Congress? There's not another level of our government that we do this at. When we look at the founders' intentions, their idea of representative government was built on this idea: one person, one vote, and right now that's being taken away by the at-large system. Thank you.
Doug and Vicky, you're gonna be up next.
Yeah.
Vicky, you're up next.
I go, or you going?
All right, first of all, we've said it several times here that we're taking away somebody's right to vote. We're reducing it by 80% if we bring in single member districting. We'll do the math on how my vote is diluted so much. When I vote in District 5 and 15 of 17 divisions in my district are won by one candidate, and it's lost due to the vote count in Estero and the Santa Barbara corridor, right? I looked at the numbers. So because you own more property in more places than I do, you have more reason to vote than I do.
You don't have the right to vote. Every person has
Exactly. But I have a right to have my interests protected by my vote, and that's what we're talking about. Right now, my voice is being taken away. The reason why we went to at-large voting in the first place was to remove the right and the voice of smaller groups of people so that larger groups could overwhelm them. It's documented, it's demonstrable. For anybody that believes in the right to vote and being an American, single member districting is the only way to properly represent someone's interest. The fact that we are saying we're taking anybody's right to vote away by going to single member districting is laughable. We're taking people's right for representation and their right to vote away by not allowing them to have single member districting. Thank you.
Vicky, Doug and Vicky. I'll go first. A duo. Terry Lewis.
Thanks for the opportunity to talk to you this evening. I've had some experiences. I was a school board member with 5 districts voting countywide, like the county commissioners. But there's some problems going the way you're suggesting. This is a hypothetical maybe, but all 4 districts, the 2 at large and the 2 that represent Cape Coral. And Cape Coral, I live in Cape Coral, but they can all be from Cape Coral, because that's where the districts are lined up. We have a section over to the south, north, that's part of Cape Coral, and we have the Cape Coral section, and the 2 at large could be Cape Coral. That would be disaster. Plus, I think we should get the approval first of our county commissioners. They've done a fine job, and I respect each and every one of them. And anytime I go to any of the 5, they come back and respect me. And I think that is important. And I'm for limited government. We don't need more government. Our president right now is trying to get the government cut down to a different size, and you're coming and saying, let's make it bigger. Sorry.
Vicky, did you?
Well, he probably said everything. I'm against it as well, as we discussed before. We don't need to have more government.
Sheila Santini. Charlie Rodriguez, you're next.
Terry Lewis for the record. Thank you for allowing us to speak. Since I spoke the last time, we've gone through and talked to other people, and I'd like to let you know what I found out. First off, I think that it would like to have it put on the ballot and let people vote for it. Because I think number one reason is we are a representative democracy. All of your positions are voted by the people that live in your area. So I don't understand why our county commissioners would be anything different. I don't believe that not having single member districts loses my voice. I think it actually strengthens it. That's what our government is structured on. Second, I think we've outgrown our structure. Lee County has grown, it's gonna continue to grow, and 8 out of 10 most populous counties in the state have gone to some form of single member districts. Only Lee County and Polk County are at large. And the third thing is, Cecil and I have had a bit of a discussion back and forth, and a discussion about the process, right? Should it have gone through the Charter Review Board? Yeah, it probably should have, but when I talk to people, I'd say 9 out of 10 people don't have a clue what the Charter Review Board does. They can't find when the meetings are, you can't find on the website. So it's a broken process. So I appreciate it that it's coming up and you're allowing people to speak. So thank you for that. I would support single member districts on the ballot.
Charlene. And then Sean Hartman, you're up. Next.
Thank you, panel members. Community members, Sheila Santini speaking. First Vice President, Women's Council Realtors, Cape Coral, Fort Myers Network. With some rough estimates and data I found online, it seems 59% of Lee County residents are registered to vote. That leaves 41% of our residents registered to vote in other states and other parts of the country. I believe that seasonal resident districts deserve the same allocation of attention and resources and services as all the other districts in our county. The safest way to preserve fair, equity, and inclusion in our county is to not strip away our county voting rights. It's a no to single voting for me.
I just want to, do you think that the voters of Lee County, and I'm just asking the same question to everybody, same exact question. Do you think the voters of Lee County should have the opportunity to vote on the structure of the county, how the county commissioners will vote?
So can I ask you a question, Matt?
Is that going to be clear and concise on the ballot, or is it going to be hidden with a bunch of other things to vote on?
Absolutely crystal clear on the bill that I've drafted. It says it right there.
So maybe we should have had a copy of that draft before we came to approach you today.
It was there last year too, so there was.
I'm here this year, I'm sorry.
Well, and
So,
I will,
okay,
I will add that this is just a discussion, we
This
want
is
to
a
hear your
discussion.
feedback,
Sure.
the
Yeah.
bill language will be public at the January 9th
Because we can
delegation
still
meeting.
amend things, that's why we're trying to get feedback. This is not a, let's fight back and forth. That's why I want to know that answer, right? Because the bill, we're not passing single member districts. We're not passing it. We're saying, do the voters, should they have an opportunity to vote on the structure of their county government?
Yes, we have a right to vote. We should vote, but I want clear and concise. Just like when we voted not to smoke in public, we voted against offshore drilling, and something else came with it. It was all in the package together. So if it's on a single solo by itself, then yes, bring it to the public at large.
And you'll be able to see it at the delegation meeting, right?
Thank you. Absolutely.
Oh, sorry, yes, go ahead.
Oh, I mixed.
Good evening. I would like to thank you for your service and being here. My name is Charlene Rodriguez. I'm a broker. I've been a real estate agent here in Southwest Florida for 20 years. I'm here representing Royal Palm Coast Realtor Association. I'm here tonight to speak against the proposed changes of Lee County government. We are against the single member district because of Lee County commissioners will be less accountable to citizens and homeowners by taking away our voice. I own several properties throughout Lee County, so I'm against this. Let's leave our county government alone. Thank you, and have a good evening.
Same question. Same question as the first person. Do you think people in Lee County should have the opportunity to vote on how their county commission is made up?
Of course, they have the right to vote. All Americans should have the right to vote, but it should be clear, like Sheila stated.
Absolutely.
That's what they're doing. We're saying yes, so you can put it on the ballot. Yes. That's why we're bringing it.
Hey guys, so for those that don't know me, Sean Hartman. So I live in District 1. In the next few weeks, I'm going to be meeting with Mr. Mullick over there in District 3 about my passion of public transportation. I'm actually going to be giving you my senior thesis. You're going to have a lot to read and discuss. If this was to pass and to go through, I would no longer be a constituent of David. I would no longer be able to call him. Or I could, I'm sure he would listen to me, but he could easily just say, well, you're not I don't represent you. Go pound sand. I don't need to listen to you. To me, this comes down to my individual power. I have, as a constituent, the ability to speak to any of these county commissioners. I have power as a voter over all 5 of them. I don't want to reduce that power by however much. That's what it is to me. And I think that's what it comes down to for a lot of us here. Now, to answer your question, Mike, about do I think the voters should have the right, I do, but why are you telling us what to vote for? That's my problem. Because that's what's really happening here, is this is becoming top down. We do have a charter review commission, as David said. We do have a process to do it from the bottom up. And we should do it from the bottom up, and I know there's been attempts to do it from the bottom up. But this to me feels like it's coming from the top down, that it's the state legislatures. And I love you guys. You guys do great work up there. I don't mean to criticize you. But it really feels like this is a top-down approach, that you're telling us what to vote for, as opposed to us putting it on the ballot ourselves. So that's my view on it.
Oh, Sean. Bob Valenta, and then Darius Cochran. It's on.
No, I turned it off when I pulled it out of the holster. Bob Valenta, Lee County Republican Assembly. I first have to note that we have 4 times the seating at a Lee County Republican Assembly meeting. Why is this place so small?
It's not my place.
There's a myriad of reasons why this needs to be defeated. And I can assure you that I'm committed to defeating it. I and my family own a lot of property around the county in 3 of the 5 districts. I will lose my representation and my ability to go and talk to my county commissioners. They're not going to care that I own property in their district. They're going to care if I can vote for them or not. And Andrew Sund, you know, if we don't go to single-member district, I assure you, New York is not going to vote for CD19. That whole argument is like, it's as pale as this attempt. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to do this. The Charter Review Board has looked at it. They've shot it down. Conservative Republicans don't want this. And you're a conservative. That's all I got. So, Mike, I'm going to answer your question. People in Lee County should have the right to vote on all 5, not 7 county commissioners.
Darius, and then we have Joshua Carter.
I vote we have longer than 90 seconds.
Listen, we took the amount of people, it's pure math, I gotta be out of this building.
I'm talking about Lehigh Acres tonight. For you guys that do not know, those are roads in Lee County, Florida, in 2024. Some of them look like a third world country. The people and the realtors of, I don't want to speak for anybody but myself. I have been a realtor for many, many years, 20 plus, been in the business with family for 40 years. I just think the voters ought to decide. This is not an argument tonight about which is best. It's about, do we want the voters to have a decision and put this on the ballot? Is that correct? That's all we're doing, so there's no reason to get all worked up. It's just let the voters decide. I think the city council let the voters decide, and they had a sweeping victory this election season because the voters decided they wanted a brand new council. Cape Coral. Thank you very much, appreciate it.
Joshua, Carl Morocco, Dr. Joshua.
Hi. Hi, my name is Joshua Krakow. I'm the chair of the Lee County Libertarian Party. I'm personally for getting it on the ballot and letting the people vote on it. I hear a lot of people talking about having multiple properties. I understand that, and I personally do own multiple properties. But I think that with how many people are moving here, it dilutes the vote of the people that are actually currently living in their residence. And that's what we need to focus on. I was a candidate for State House, and I will be a candidate for State House again this year, or in 2026. I was against it for myself as a bill because I think that it would be a waste of a bill for a State House to focus on such a minute thing, and I think that it should work from the grassroots, from local working its way up. But I think that our state house has unfortunately not held our county commissioners accountable, our sheriff accountable, and we need to have our state actually be much stronger and bolder on lower levels of authority, because unfortunately our bills are not actually representing the people. I mean, we have a bill about increasing registration on electric vehicles. I've door knocked businesses, houses. I know how much it costs to run a campaign. There's a lot of these bills have nothing to do with us. So if you're gonna waste a bill, then do a bill that actually lets people vote and decide how they want it to look. Whether you agree with me or not on how it should look, I'm for single member district, but I think that it should be left to the people to vote on. Thank you.
Carl Baracco, and then Amanda Cochran.
Good evening, representatives. Thank you for tonight. My name is Carl Baracco. I'm a 55-plus year resident of Lee County. During that time, since high school, I followed Lee County politics, and over those decades, I can tell you Lee County government has had its highs and lows. But the last few decades, we've been blessed with a very strong and stable county commission, even with the growth. We've heard about growth, so we know that we have over 100,000 residents today. We're growing to 1 million. My question to you is this: would each of you share with us how many residents have contacted you directly and asked you to take this forward? Is it 10,000? Is it 1,000? Is it 100? Is it 10? Because that number is not significant. We have to ask ourselves why. And yes, the people of Lee County do have a right to vote on this. And the way they do that is approach their county commission, which they can do at every county commission meeting during public comment. And I've been to a lot of commission meetings and have not heard that once. We had a charter review commission, and again, the residents of Lee County had an opportunity to voice their opinions. That commission heard it and decided that wasn't good for Lee County. That was their job. So, in essence, please let Lee County govern Lee County, and please go to Lee County, or please go to Tallahassee and take care of the important state issues that you have in front of you. Thank you.
90 seconds. Single-member districts is widely used in our nation. Our school district and city councils operate under them. Are those in power who are pushing back so strongly against the idea of single-member districts the same ones who were once supportive of that structure within our school district? During my candidacy, one of the comments I heard most frequently from residents in District 1 through 4 was that they couldn't vote for me because I was running in District 5. The truth is, many people already believe we operate under single-member district systems. This disconnect highlights the need for change. The way the Charter Committee is structured seems a near impossible path. With population nearing 1 million in our county, larger than some states, our current at-large voting system no longer serves us equitably. It allows larger districts to overshadow smaller communities. For instance, residents in Boca Grande may not fully grasp the issues in Lehigh, as was mentioned. Yet residents within their own districts, like Alva's District 5, are deeply aware of their local challenges, and their voices deserve to be heard without being diluted. And in most recent commission race during the primary, District 5 made the position clear with 65% of the vote for the candidate who did not win the election. Some argue in power that single-member districts significantly diminishes voter influence, but I believe the opposite. By focusing on my district, my vote becomes more powerful, ensuring my community's struggles and interests are effectively represented. Let's place the initiative on the ballot and trust the democratic process. Let the freedom and power of voting decide this answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
I didn't know you had to sign up.
Do you want to come up? Absolutely.
I've never used one of these before. My name's Edie Hines. We live in Cape Coral for 8 years. We don't own any property other than our home, our residence. but we live in Ohio, outside of Cleveland. They had wards. And with the wards was trouble and segregation, not desegregation. It created more segregation. From one side of the room to the other, one corner to the other corner. And it wasn't funny. And with the wards, you had ward healers, wannabes that want a favor for this and a want a favor for that. They kept, and where do they get the money from for that? Them or us? It's us. There's no need. Right now, this system works pretty good. We couldn't get over how great Lee County is and Cape Coral. The law enforcement, the schools, they all need help. But they're great as they are. If it's not broken, why fix it? Why make trouble with wards and ward healers and more Democrats? I apologize not.
All right, so Cecil decided he wanted to speak.
You want to be last.
How did I know he was going to try to be last? I know that you were going on town. I wanted to make sure that you had an opportunity.
No, I just want to make sure everybody else had a chance to speak. So, good evening. My name is Cecil Pendergrass. I'm currently the Vice Chairman of the Board of County Commissioners, a voter and taxpayer. First of all, I'd like to thank all of you for your service in office and your service in the military. Representative Giambardo, as a son of a World War II veteran, now myself serving my 40th year in public service. Service, I truly understand the dedication of service to the people. That is why I'm here tonight to ask you to serve all the people by not moving forward any bills that would ignore the county's charter form of government. For all for one person's desire to control and change the county government structure, we are elected servants to the people that are asked daily to take a stance, position, or vote. Well, sometimes we don't really agree on the things we vote on, but we do it for the betterment of all people and not just one person. That's why the county charter is in place, just like our state constitution, so others do not abuse their powers to make changes. Myself, you, and all your predecessors all have been asked to do this for the last 15 years, based upon a written statement of information. Myself, just like your predecessors, all said no. It's up to the county charter review process. This is a process to make those changes, so why not let this process work? We're all here now with the purpose of change, and so not change the county for individual desires to do it. Do we really want to discuss this publicly in state committee meetings? No, we do not. What we should be doing is work for the people, for the state of Florida, for insurance, transportation, education, water quality. So I ask you tonight not to move forward with any bills regarding change the local government that affect all the people, not just one person. And regarding your question, people should have the right to vote based on what the county puts forward, not the state. Let the county commission work on this together to bring some forward in the future, not the state. Thank you.
And this is why we don't come to the county commissioners for it.
You have a question?
I just have a question.
Sure.
Because he brought up a good reason. Who brought this forward?
Yeah, we keep asking.
We're about,
We'll spearheaded this. Don't you guys have enough to do without representing our county? I mean, really?
So I will tell you, this is not a new issue, right? As some of the folks said. So I'm going to explain that. So we had last year, I proposed the bill,
Why?
right?
Why?
So year after year, we sit up in Tallahassee and we get communities like Lehigh, Pine Island, Matlacha, all of these areas wanting to incorporate. Do you know what incorporation would do to your properties that you own in all the other areas? They're getting petitions. There's people in this room that are gathering petitions as we speak. Right? So we do not want to create cities. I personally think it is, the taxes that we pay in Cape Coral are high. We do not want to create cities. We want the county. If I had it my way, the whole county would be unincorporated. It's not, I don't have it my way. So I ask the question to every person who comes up, and they're, that's where our property appraiser, when he was in our state representative, he created LAMSIT to provide an opportunity for LAMSIT to structure a deal with the county, which has not happened.
Can't.
So we're like, well, how do we fix this problem? So I ask everybody, what is the reason? We don't get control of our sidewalks. We don't get to, our representation's not there. The areas, if you go through Matlacha right now, I mean, it still looks like Ian just hit. Right? So our solution is, well, if all of these people want to be their own city because they don't get representation, then let's give them the opportunity to have their own commissioner, right? To be just like the state. We're all single members here. Everybody here is a single member. Congressman Donald's a single member. And this is a ballot initiative. That's why I asked the question. Whether or not I believe in single member districts or not is really irrelevant, because it'll go on the ballot and you can go out and stand on sidewalks and tell people not to vote for it or vote for it, whatever you want to do. But at the end of the day, it's government. That it's the people that should be able to control how their county commission and their government is structured. Not government telling them. I am not telling. That's why we're having town halls, because I want that feedback. Somebody said 5. Somebody said, we want that feedback, because there's time in the process. I'm not pushing things just through. I'm taking notes, right? And so that is why. So to answer your question, I filed the bill.
Thank you.
So now we can hold
Maybe
you
next year we'll
accountable.
go
Hold me accountable. That's perfectly fine.
Starting at PAX if anybody wants to join it.
That's fine.
Thank you, Anna Botana, District 80. These have been great events. Thank you for all for coming out. We've learned a lot. We've got a lot of input from both sides, and we appreciate it. One thing I have to do say, it's kind of surprising when I was in Bonita, I had a developer come to me and says, don't put this on a ballot, don't put this on a ballot. People won't know what to vote for. They're not knowing what they're going to vote for. Well, it's worked for 250 years in our country. I think it works pretty good right now. I think we put the trust in the people and let them make the decision.
Thank you, everybody, for coming and letting us know the direction that you want the county to go in. I think it's very important, and I wish we did this on every bill, honestly. So I want to thank Representative Gio Lombardo for bringing these town halls around the county together so that we could find out what everybody thinks about this really important issue. A long time ago, for some political history, when I was the chair of the Lee County Republican Party, the Lee County Republican Party had endorsed the idea of hybrid member districts, so 2 at-large, 5 single-member districts. And I remember as the chair of that organization at the time, I presented that to the county charter commission, the review commission, and I believe there was 1 vote off from sending that to the ballot. This was back in 2015, 2016. I don't agree with everything that was said here today. I don't disagree with everything that was said here today. I don't agree with everything that I thought of a year ago about this topic, and I probably won't agree with everything that I think a year from now about this topic. But the frame, and I've said this before, the lens that I'm looking at this issue through is whether or not everybody here wants to weigh in on this topic. And there's no doubt in my mind that every single person here is going to be very active if this does make it to the ballot. You'll be active in telling everybody how to vote. You'll be sharing your concerns, one way or the other. And I'm, not scared of having a political debate. Those who've known me for a long time know that I want information, and I think we can land on something that's going to work, regardless of how everybody well, first of all, regardless of whether this makes it to the ballot, and regardless of how everyone votes on this initiative, I'm really proud of Lee County. And I mean, without sounding like a cliche, like this is how it should work, right? Like we show up, we say this is what I believe in, this is what I don't believe in, and we listen to each other. I don't want to sound total woke and make it sound like a kumbaya meeting, because this wasn't. But I've been through much more contentious meetings just in the last couple of months than this. By all means, if you wanted a real debate, y'all should step it up. Well, Bob, you were probably at most of those contentious meetings. So we're going to be fine. Lee County will be fine. We have great leadership. I want to thank Commissioner Pendergrass for his leadership through the years with the county commission. He's been a friend for a long time. Hopefully he'll continue to be a friend for a long time, regardless of where this goes. I'm sure we'll be. But look, we're at the crossroads. Lee County is growing. We're going to be at 1 million people. Actually, the week after Thanksgiving, I think we hit 1 million people. At least it felt like it on the roads. So we're moving in that direction. We want to have smart government. We want government that works for everybody. Just before everybody leaves, I want to make sure that everyone knows we're not going to be passing any legislation in Tallahassee that either chooses the size of the county commission at 5 or 7. If there is any decision to be made, it will leave 100% of that decision to the voters. Just so we're clear on that. But thank you all for coming, and again, happy holidays, Merry Christmas.
I appreciate you all taking the time to come out here and give us your feedback. I think that's a really important part of the process. Again, I represent District 77, which is the eastern part of Lee County, and this is easily the #1 issue that I hear from my constituents in various forms of discussion. But that is my interest in this topic and why I'm supporting single-member districts. And I will just reiterate what's been said multiple times. Like, this is simply putting the question on the ballot for the voters of Lee County to decide. We are not changing the structure of government. We are not making that decision for anyone in Lee County. We are simply asking the question and providing the opportunity for your voices to be heard. So thank you again for coming out tonight.
Can I ask one quick question? Every time you've mentioned the ballot, you have said it would be worded. The vote, do you think you should have the right to vote on the structure of the county, rather than saying clearly you are voting for single-member district or the other? If you say voting on the structure of the county, everybody's going to say, oh, yeah, I want to be able to structure my county. But again, it's like the lady said, you're hiding it under it.
Well, I appreciate the feedback. We're going to stick around for a few minutes. You guys want to chat? We do have to be out of here. So.
You asked the realtor questions. I got 5 seconds. You asked the realtor questions. I was able to respond and made my speech half the slide. I just want to point out that you said coming to 1 million people. We're in a room, you take away actual candidates, future candidates, past candidates out of this room, or lobbyists. There's only 6 people here that represent the county. So if we counted 875,000 people, this room does not represent the county. And I think that's the message I want to say. You're putting the message out there. We had Charter Review Commission meetings, 12 meetings throughout the county, through all places in the county. I had public input. This never came up except one time. So again, I just want to point out this.
Which one? Lehigh.
We had multiple town halls. You were at all of them.
Yeah, the charter review meeting he's talking about, which in Lehigh, it came up in Lehigh.
Yes, and I was there.
Okay. Hey, again, thank you so much for being here.
Quick question. Are there going to be other town halls on this topic before January 9th?
No, this is the third one already.
This is the last one. All right, thank you so much.